Welcome back to the channel, guys. To those of you that have not subscribed, make sure you please click on the subscribe button, like, share. You can also make your comments. I would love to watch out for it. If there's anything you don't understand, make sure you actually comment. So I would love to watch out for it. So for a couple of months now, let's say years now, since last year, right? NASDAQ100 has been giving us a bearish move. You can see that price is actually dropping. And realize that more drop is actually to come because inflation itself is still increasing, is still going higher, which means interest rates will still be increased. So once interest rates is still being increased, the stock market will continue to fall. So that have it in mind that more and more drop on NASDAQ 100 will definitely play out. So have that in mind. Right now, what we can see is that a drop wants to start playing out. What I am seeing personally is actually a drop is already playing out. So we can see this as a correction. Now we will be expecting a drop anytime soon. So it will look something like like an impulse move downward. Then here happens to be a correction, another impulse move here, then a correction played out here, another impulse move downward. You can see that all this impulse move we are having downward, we are actually breaking the previous lows. So this I can see as a correction as long as it does not break these lows, these lower highs, right? Then definitely we will continue to go bearish. So it makes sense for us to actually have a pullback around this level. So one thing we will be expecting in the long run, especially 6-7 months time, we should be watching out for a drop that will take out this low. So a new low needs to be made. So for position traders, this trade is actually for you. You can go ahead and sell because more drop is to come. And by the way, interest rates will still be increased, right? You can see PPI increasing, CPI increasing. So basically, inflation is still increasing, it's still moving up. So there's no sign that it will actually come down. Coupled with the fact that this Russia and Ukraine war has not been settled, more of it is still to come. So basically, more of these commodities that is being used to produce certain goods or everything. Once these commodities are increasing, when they use this commodity to produce a certain goods, the price increase. So this is why inflation is coming out, right? And to fight inflation, interest rates needs to be increased. As interest rates increase, that is definitely not good for the stock market, but it is good for the dollar, right? Dollar will continue to rise. Then the stock market, which we can see on NASDAQ 100, will continue to drop. Now we are going to take a look at this on a daily time frame. If you've been following, if you were my Patreon subscriber, you would have seen how we actually took a buy from this position, right? I told you guys that we would take a buy, which we actually took that buy, right? So if you are not yet my subscriber, make sure you check the link in the comment section. I'm going to put a link in the comment section. Become one of my Patreon subscriber. Like I said, I'm going to be giving you good quality trade, high probability trade, winning trade. I'm not trying to tell you that all the trade that I'll give, everything will be win. Of course, we might have one or two losses, but majority of the trade I will give you, like I said, I promise the majority of the trade that I give you will definitely be a winning trade. Like we can see this Monday, we actually took a trade, which was NASDAQ 100. We hit our level, we got to our targets, right? It was fine. The second trade we took, which was the trade for the week, which was USD Singapore dollar, we actually hit our targets, we actually got to our level. We took the third trade, which is Nasdaq natural gas. Sorry, the third trade was natural gas. You can see if you are following me, we actually hit the targets, right? I showed you guys when I did some analysis on my previous video. We did analysis, we actually hit the targets. Now the fourth one, which is USD JPY, though it has not gotten to our target, but price is still playing out. Either on Monday and Tuesday, we would know if that price will hit our targets or not. So more trade, by the way, is still to come, more analysis to come. So if you have been following me consistently, you will see that we'll be having good, successful trade. Even last week, right? We actually made about, it's not 4 or 5 trade, whereby we actually hit almost everything, right? So almost our analysis is actually correct. If you can follow us, you become one of our subscribers. Trust me, you are going to get a better trade. Instead of blowing up your accounts. I'm sure most of you must have blown your account one times, two times, three times, four times. Why don't you just become one of our subscribers and get better trade from us, right? And you'll see that your account will definitely improve for good. And if at the end of the month you actually don't get the trade that I promise you, you can go ahead and cancel your subscription. Like I said, a trial should convince you that I will give you the best trade. Right now, we can see that this is kind of like an M movement. We can see like one. This is an M movement. We can see it, right? So one thing we'll be expecting for the week is another drop. So basically, NASDAQ100 will continue to give us that bearish move. Like I said, in the long run, we would expect more bearish move. So if you want to get more analysis on this NASDAQ100, you want to get more setup, trade setup, like I said, I will put a link in the comment section. Become one of my Patreon subscriber. It is there I'm going to give you better setup. Once I get a better setup, once I get more trade analysis, I'm going to give it to you in that channel. Like I said, give it a try. I'm going to give it the best trade. Now we can see on this 4-hour time frame, basically we can see that price has actually been ranging here. At first we took a buy to this level where price actually moved up, right? So during that, will I say, was it PPI and CPI period, price literally started dropping. It was around CPI, right? Price eventually started dropping, right? So that is to tell that inflation is still around, more drop is still to come. It just depends on where are we going to have the bullish move, where are we going to have the drop, where will the setup play out, how and when should we actually take this trade. All of it is what I'm going to cover in my Patreon channel. Once you become my Patreon subscriber, I'm going to give you the update there. Like I said, check the link in the comment section. So this is what we'll be looking out for. We would expect to close bearish for the week on NASDAQ100. You can see last week we actually closed to bearish. This week we can see that at first price went up, then price dropped. This is one of the reasons why candlestick week is still sticking up. So more of this I'll cover it in my Patreon channel.